I guess there are, if you do use a platform like Indiegogo or Kickstarter, they take a percentage of the funds. And it kind of, I mean, I guess there's a lot of pressure as well to actually meet your goal. For a while, after our first week, we weren't getting a lot of press coverage, and we were actually worried we weren't even going to hit 100,000. And so that was, and it was almost going to be like an embarrassing thing for us because we'd anticipated so many numbers, like such higher numbers, but because our price was higher, we the sales were coming in as we thought. So I think there's a lot of pressure to succeed, and that's kind of one thing that we found a lot was because there were so many eyes on us, and you're making it so public that if you don't get the sales, then more people aren't as inclined to buy it. Because once you hit your goal, then people, like the sales come so much quicker. So it's like the cons, I think, with being so public about the amount that you made as well. So it's like people can see exactly how much your project has made. So that would probably be a con. And then
as like a social media team, how do you guys handle the bad press when people start trolling with just really bad stuff on your, Facebook? What's the best way to deal with that?
Oh, so that's a really good question. So, because we did have backlash about the price increase, and then one thing that we learned is like someone may like email you and they might be a little disgruntled, but then if you don't reply within 5 minutes at like 4 o'clock in the morning, they will post on every single one of your Facebook posts angrily saying that you're the worst company ever. And so the best way to address it is to make sure you respond to every single one of their posts. So even though you may have dealt with it privately through email, make sure that you've addressed them on your post, because then someone else will come on and see like, oh wow, this person's so cheese and they didn't even get a response. This company does not know what they're doing. And then also, one thing that we did do as well, when we did get the pushback about the price increase, we publicly wrote a thing on Facebook just explaining the new features. And so never just ignore the bad press, always address it. And so another thing that happened to us as well was we had a problem with our mailing list. And so we sent out 6 of the same email to like 10,000 of our subscribers, and we lost like 600 subscribers. Like, and so then we had to send another, we didn't want to send like another mailing list apologizing because everyone was so mad. And so we didn't really know what to do, because it's like we wanted to tell people, but then we didn't want to like tell them again. So we just like addressed it again on Facebook on just like the channels that we're most, people are mostly on and how they mostly find out about us. So, and then also if people, sometimes like they'll say like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's like, oh, we're sorry you feel that way. Like it's, and so it's not just like, if people sound really disgruntled on your Facebook wall, like don't just ignore them. And then also we usually drive them to our email, so you don't want to handle it publicly, like have a long conversation with someone. It's like, oh, we're sorry you feel that way. If you have any further questions or comments, feel free to contact us at info@yirego.com, just so that people are noticing that we're taking initiative, but we're not just blatantly talking about it. Because everyone does deserve to be responded to, and ignoring people's emails is just going to give you a really bad reputation. And so we actually have like an email template that's like, if people are like negative things of being like, oh, like I don't want to spend like 5 hours like doing a load of laundry, but it's like, okay, well first takes 5 minutes, but then it's also like these, like some people will just say really nasty things just for the sake of doing it. Like I don't know what like their life is like, but then it's something like they go out of their way to try and like put you down. It's like you're putting in the effort to write this. Haters. Yeah, exactly. And so it's like address them, but don't take it to heart, because it's like at the end of the day, you're like, for us, we're a product design company, and we want like our goal is to provide sustainable solutions through unconventional design and like add convenience in your life. And so it's like sometimes that comes with a price tag. And that was like the biggest thing was like, I'm not spending $300 to like put physical effort in. It's like, well, we're not your market then. But then we wouldn't say it like that, obviously. Yeah. But yeah.
How do you answer like when you get asked like how is Yirego different from all the other like handheld or foot pedal machines?
So it's really easy for us because we have a higher price point, but we are the only premium product available on the market. So we will have like stainless steel components, and The other, because there are two main competitors, the Laundry Pod and the Wonder Wash, and they're hand cranked, and they have they're much lower in the user experience. So they actually have, they don't have a rinse or a spin cycle like we do, so you actually have to wring out the clothes by hand anyways, which is hard on your hands, so even if you're using soap or not, it's still just really tough. And so we have like a spin cycle, so it's like you just hang them to dry. So it's, for us, our competitors, we don't really see as too heavy as competition, just because our user experience is so much better. It's so much simpler and intuitive.
You were saying before that you wouldn't answer them in that way. You're not like our market. How would you answer them then?
I would just kind of address it as in we are a sustainable product design company, and our goal is to provide the best in-user experience. If they had any further questions or comments, to email us.
Okay.
So then it would just be like kind of saying who we are and not necessarily like judging who they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's like if they don't, like because a lot of it is the fact that we're eco-friendly, and if a lot of people say like, well, I can just use a washing machine, it's like, okay, then use a washing machine. But I'm not, like, I wouldn't say that. I would just say like we're sustainable, and then they can email us. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I thought you were had a question.
What was the budget you were working with before the launch of the Indiegogo campaign?
We were kind of all over the place. So we spent around $9,000 on our video, which I think we wouldn't have really needed to spend much more. I know some campaigns, they will spend like $40,000 on their video, and it's really great, but I think our video still got the message across. With regards to advertising, that one's really tough. It's really tough to allocate like a specific budget to advertising, because the more money you spend, generally speaking, the more money you make. And so we didn't really have too much of an ad budget for that. Like at first we didn't have one at all, and then we started working with Google partners, and then they're like, oh, well, if you spend more, then like you're gonna make more, and then that's what some of our advisors were saying. But then we didn't really find that with Google partners as much. But then the more we used Facebook advertising, we were noticing that our sales were increasing. And so with, like, I guess I would say that our budget before the campaign, without like employee payment, would be probably around 15. Yeah, I would say like give or take, just because with PR and stuff, we also decided to do that halfway through the campaign as well. So we were trying to do it with as little budget as possible, because I know some campaigns that like their companies already have some investment as well, so they have more room to like pay like a lot of money towards like PR and everything too. Mm-hmm.
So are you part of any accelerator or incubator or anything of that sort?
Yes, we actually we're part of the Imagination Catalyst, just for below. We don't work out of there too often anymore. We're just kind of across the street actually, but then yeah, we still operate with them, and I still like talk with like Catherine and Ahmed and everyone, so I highly recommend it.
You should go to SLC.
Pardon?
The Ryerson.
Oh, the DMZ?
Yeah, DMZ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I actually haven't been to that space before, but I like to know some
They
companies.
gave it a makeover. It's really nice now.
Did they?
Yeah.
Mm.
Rebrand of their logo. It's pretty fresh. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, because I know that you guys actually negotiated with Indiegogo prior to agreeing to work with Indiegogo.
Mm-hmm.
I've only heard a little bit about that, but can you talk a little bit about that relationship? Because I know that Indiegogo, as opposed to Kickstarter, will actually give you that like one-on-one. I don't know.
Yeah, I know that Kickstarter won't really give you a strategist. Our negotiating actually, like, I thought that because we were working with a rep, like the marketing rep from Indiegogo, and he's like really, really tough with negotiating, and I thought the rep was actually gonna faint. Like, he looked really white, but maybe it's just like the call, 'cause he was having to call people from San Francisco. But it was also because we'd gone viral that it was really easy for us to negotiate, because they were like, okay, this is a guaranteed thing. And then, so I think it's really tough for me to say, just because Yi is just very, very, very stubborn when it comes to negotiating, and sometimes it's almost too much, but he knows it's too much, and then I have to go and be like, oh no, he doesn't mean it, and so it's like a good cop, bad cop sort of thing. but I do know that other companies have negotiated as well. So what they'll do is they'll make you sign an LOA before you start your campaign and start working with a strategist.
What's an LOA?
It's an agreement to work with them pretty much. I can't remember what it exactly stands for, but then it just kind of shows like if you work with a campaign strategist, it'll say in like the thing. It'll also say the rate they agree to give you. So their standard I think is 4%. I think 4 or 5. And so that'll say it. So then like you can't, but then you can't work with a strategist until you sign it. And so you can't really begin like planning on Indiegogo until you sign the LOA. So then that was like the main thing was that our rep kept trying to like make us sign it, and then like he was just like, no, I'm not signing. So it's just like, I don't know, there's a lot of back and forth with us, but I don't think it usually happens.
So were you guys negotiating to get that 4% down?
Yes. Actually, maybe it was 5%. I honestly, I don't really remember. I was trying to like stay out of it as much as possible, but just like keep our rep happy, so.
Yeah, did the strategist really help with the campaign, or did
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was talking to her probably almost every day, and then, or like every 2 or 3 days, but then she was always like corresponding with me over email. And so she would give me tips on like social media strategies and just different tips, and she also provided me with a lot of PDFs with like structure on how to like structure your story. And then she would also kind of look over and be like, oh, you should probably reword this, or you should do this and this. So she was really good at that, and yeah, I would highly recommend having someone like that. And I know that some PR firms as well, they'll help you with the promotion as well, and the promotional strategies. And so that's another benefit to going with PR.
Is that what tipped you from Indiegogo versus Kickstarter?
There were a few different reasons why we didn't go with Kickstarter. So one of them being if you don't reach your goal with Kickstarter, you don't get any money. But the benefit of Kickstarter is that it's more curated because Indiegogo accepts absolutely everyone, and Kickstarter is more kind of design focused, and they kind of make it so the projects are all really like nice looking. Another thing was that we got a strategist, so we had someone working with us. And I think there was also things with the back end analytics. Kickstarter's wasn't as good as Indiegogo's, and I can't remember the other reasons, but Indiegogo is really user friendly for us, and we also we had someone who's from FlexiDrone working as just kind of an advisor with us, and he actually had a little platform that like you were able to change the perks and stuff and everything to grab all the data from your Indiegogo campaign into this platform. And so it was almost kind of like a CRM where you can just kind of like change people, you can refund them easily, and yeah.
Sorry, what's a CRM?
It's like a
customer relationship management.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's like, for example, when we introduced the new color of the drummy, then people were like, oh, but I ordered a green one, how do I get a silver one? So then I could just like go in and change it like really quickly without having them refunding and then just getting it back and stuff like that.
What's the thing called that you guys use from FlexiDrone?
Curo Crowd.
Oh.
So CURO, Crowd. Yep.
So what is the vision going forward, and how do you want to scale up the business?
So right now we're just kind of, our main focus is to deliver the drummy and make sure it's delivered on time. We're also starting to plan a launch, like a big launch for when the drummy actually delivers. So we have another huge PR push. We do have plans to do a lot of like drummy accessories and kind of push that, and then we also have some ideas of products down the road, because we want to be seen as not just the makers of the drummy, but we also want to be known as like a sustainable product design company.
Yes, and would you be open to like partnership, because you mentioned when you were saying about the product that there was a company in Australia who is doing these mobile homes or something.
Yeah.
Would you look at making partnerships with them eventually so that you became an integral part in that their value chain?
Yeah, I mean, that's not something that we would be opposed to yet. Right now we're also kind of exploring like the best distribution streams as well, because we've had a lot of inquiries from all over the world. India is actually probably our biggest one, because we went viral in India during our campaign, so we have like 200 people that want to distribute the drummy in India. But it also just kind of, it depends on where like that company is and how they're perceiving their brand identity, because we don't want to like partner up with someone who isn't aligned with our values.
Correct.
And that's something that we're really careful about, is not partnering up with a company that doesn't really seem like it's in sync with us. So one that we are partnering with is a Ontario-based company that does the eco-friendly detergent that I was talking
Yes.
about. So then it kind of like, it works for both of us. They've had a lot of promotion, and now we have something that's like, you don't need a rinse cycle for it, so it's like you literally just need the 5 liters of water, and then you're all good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've gone 20 minutes past time.
Oh,
but
sorry.
Thank you so much, Megan. No. It was really good.
Yeah.
You hit it.
And I can give you the deck and everything, so if...
Okay, sweet.
Oh, here, I can write my email